You know, I've been doing this for over 32 years now, speaking and consulting literally around the world. I'm going to Shanghai next month. Shanghai. Never been to China. Been all over Asia, been all over Europe, but I've never been to China. But, you know, and I've always prided myself on really working hard to provide the best speeches and seminars, keynotes, that type of stuff. One of the things that I do when I am preparing for presentations is that I try to get phone calls with a number of people who will probably be in the audience, so that I get a handle on what their situations are, what their circumstances are. As you know, I speak primarily marketing innovation, and most of my talks right now are based on my book, Uncopyable: How to Create an Unfair Advantage Over Your Competition. And I had something interesting happen recently. Now, like I said, I've given over 1,600 presentations around the world over the last 32 years, and I had, for the first time ever, I had some people come up to me afterwards who said, "Gee, it didn't sound like you used any of the information that I shared with you in our conversation," and I didn't have the heart to tell them why I didn't share the information that they had with me. You see, here's the thing, you know, especially related to, and I've always been, you know, I've always worked on helping people be more successful from a marketing, branding, innovation perspective. And I am here to teach you how to create a competitive strategy that is uniquely, clearly, and meaningfully different from your competition. That's what I mean by uncopyable, is that you are different, not just better than the competition, but you are different from the competition. And it kind of goes back to, and I often use this in my talks. In fact, I use it almost all the time. I didn't say this, but let me pop up this question that I ask my audiences. My good friend Dan Kennedy. If you are not familiar with Dan Kennedy, well, shame on you. You should know who he is. He's you can go search him out, Dan Kennedy. He is really one of the legends of the marketing world, and just a great guy. He's a little bit crotchety like I am, but just a terrific guy. And he asks this question. It came from one of his books, and I know he still uses it a lot, and so I steal it. I give him credit for it, but I use it myself too, because, see, the question is, why should I buy from you versus every other option available, including doing nothing or whatever I'm already doing? Now, you know, I think this is a really important question, because the question is, why should I pick you over every other option available? Now, it doesn't necessarily, and if your answer is, well, I'm better than the competition, well, you know, that's a short-term answer. I'm better than the competition. If you can show me that you are uniquely valuable, in other words, superior in ways that the competition simply cannot deliver on, then not only do you have the opportunity of getting my business now, but you probably have the opportunity of getting my business forever. All right. And I mean, let me show you what I'm talking about here. And this relates back to the conversations that I had with some of these people. Now, don't get me wrong. Most of the time, when I am researching a keynote or some type of presentation where I'm talking to people, most of the time they are not giving me information that I will use in my program. And they don't really realize that until afterwards. It's just that this time was the first time anybody asked me about it. Now, here's what I mean, is that when I'm talking to people, I'm asking them, okay, so how do you differentiate yourself from the competition? The answer 99% of the time comes down to one of three areas, and mostly one, but one of three areas. And this is kind of the old way of, oh, okay, looks like I have to go clean up my dog poop in the yard. I guess I better, since I already did that, we can get rid of that. That's what you get when you work with me, all right? You get little Easter eggs like that. So anyway, see, and most people would stop their recording and start over again, but not me, because you get Steve. So, all right, where were we? All right, so here's how competition has been historically. It's been based on these three parameters, all right? And the first one is, we'll say this circle right here is that the product that you are delivering is vastly different, vastly better than the competition. That's that when we talk in terms of why somebody should choose to do business with us, it falls into one of these three categories. Okay, one category is that our product is superior. All right, one is that our service is superior to the competition, and the final one, we all know this one, is that our price is better than the competition, cheaper than the competition, however you want to look at it. Okay, now in the past you could rely on something like product to be different, because in the past creating products and producing products was very expensive, and you could come up with a product that even if the competition was able to ultimately copy you, because of the high costs of design and production and all that type of stuff, you would have a head start of many months, if not even years, right, before the competition could catch up with you. No more. All right, that's not true anymore. You know, technology and the ease of using technology has made that go away. The advantage has gone away. Is that in most cases, and especially in the product world, and when I talk about products, I'm not services, but products that are actually manufactured, especially in that world, they're commodities. They're commodities. Just because yours is yellow or red or blue or something like that doesn't make it superior. Okay, that's and so the products themselves today are becoming commodities. All right. So then the second one, service, is the service behind the sale. That's how this is defined. All right. In the originally is the service, and service being if there's a problem, you have great service. If there's maintenance, you have great service. Things like that. Now, historically, service was our product. Quality is job one, right? Remember that one? We build quality in, before the name goes on, that type of stuff. So they were focusing on the product, and that's what we tend to do. Is we tend to focus on that our product is better than the competition, and nowadays, because products are the commodities, now we tend to say we have the best customer service in the world, in the industry, and that's all well and good, but there are two problems with that. The first problem is that the phrase customer service is a vague generality. It's not something that can be easily defined. All right, everybody kind of has their own definition of what service is, and the second big issue is everybody, you and all of your competitors say that you have the best customer service, but because you're not defining specifically what customer service means, it's not really saying anything. Okay, and then ultimately, if the customer or the prospect cannot see the difference between your product and service and the competition's, then the decision tends to be based on price. And what's the complaint I hear all the time from people? It's that we have price pressure from our customers. Our customers are really pushing us on the price, and that's because you have not actually shown them that you are uniquely superior, that you are uniquely, clearly, and meaningfully superior to the competition. You have not done that. So as I talk in my programs now, I say that what we've got now is, this is the ante to be in the game now. That's what this is. Is that it's very, very difficult to become the long-term choice for any one of these reasons. And so we now need to be adding something. And this is not in my book. I've kind of come up with this concept after my book. But in my book Uncopyable, I talk about 3 strategies that you can use. That the uncopyable innovation strategy, uncopyable branding strategy, and the uncopyable experience strategy. But because there's no one thing that makes a difference, nowadays I'm kind of referring to this as element X. Element X. That's this thing that is wrapping the rest of it around. It could be a great customer experience, but you see, a customer experience beyond the expected customer service, beyond that. And it could be branding, but it's a branding proposition that is beyond just a cool logo and a sort of quasi promise that you give to people. No, it's actually something very, very meaningful and important. So, or it could be something innovative. Be something innovative that you're adding to the relationship, adding to the overall experience that they're having, that goes beyond product, service, and price. And what this basically means is that if you are continuing to compete on just the product, service, and price, on those 3 things, then what are you doing? You are now in the box. That's what they're talking about when they say you need to get out of the box. That's what they're talking about. So here is, I'm going to say that basically everybody that you are competing with, they're all in this box, and you are in there too if that's what you're competing on. And this falls into what I call playground shouting, is that you're all in this box and you're all shouting as loud as possible, but you're all in there and you're all playing by the same rules of competition. But you see, that's not how people who are uncopyable, companies who are uncopyable, do it. They do things, here, let me clear this off. Whoops. All right, go to the next page. Got to back up again. So for example, when I talk about I've talked about this in many of my programs. You might have heard me talk about this before, but like when I say, what is the most popular roller coaster in the world? What is the most successful roller coaster in the world? It's not one of those that's at Kings Island or Coney Island or at some huge amusement or Universal Studios or anything like that. It is not one of those. It is Space Mountain, in Disney World. And the thing to remember is that when you think of roller coasters, if you think about the product, the service, and the price from roller coasters, that's what's going on inside the box. And all the roller coasters who call themselves roller coasters on the planet are competing inside that box. Disney chose to create a new box outside the box where they don't even use the word roller coaster. Space Mountain is not a roller coaster in Disney vernacular. It happens to be inside of a building, okay? And it's just an average roller coaster that's inside of a building, and an experience that says, no, you're going into outer space. You're not riding a roller coaster. You're going into outer space. And so that's the difference. That's the element X that I'm talking about that we need to be doing. And so the people, and this happens all the time, I'm telling you, happens all the time. When I'm talking to people in advance, they will tell me about what makes them superior, from the, whoops, that's too early. Let's back up from there. They will tell me, based on the, let me go back to the, They will tell me how great their product is, how different their product is. No, not how different. I'm sorry. They will tell me how their product is better, right? And I'm not kidding when I say stuff like they'll say, well, it's because our product is blue, or our product is the color of the local university, or something like that. Or they'll say, we provide the best customer service in the industry, or some of them will even say, well, we have the best price. So you see, the people are not telling me something that is outside the box. They're not telling me something about that they're creating new rules of competition. The vast majority of people, when I'm interviewing them, are talking inside this box, or this circle here, right? And ultimately inside the box. And that's the difference. That's what I'm talking about. So when people come up to me and they say, gee, I didn't, really hear you say anything that we talked about in our conversation, and I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't want to just say to them, well, yeah, I understand how you're better than the competition right now, but I don't understand how you're different. See, I don't want to hurt their feelings while I'm right there. That's not my job. What I learned from them in the conversation was, here are the people who are the leaders in their industry, but ultimately they are eminently copyable. And if a competitor decides that they want to copy or make themselves even better, all they have to do is look at what these people are doing and just do it in a better fashion. That's not what uncopyable is. In order to create a long-term, again, going back, getting into your own box here, right? Getting into, creating your own box, you have to create something different that you are delivering to your marketplace that is meaningfully, clearly, measurably, uniquely, and relevant in value to them. That's what it's all about. So anyway, are you competing in the box? That's what this is all about. So when people say get out of the box, that's maybe they aren't really defining it that way, but that's the way I define it. Is that you don't want to just get out of the box. You actually want to build your own box. Now, if you don't know about that stuff, then you need to go get my book and read about it. And watch for, I'm going to be doing some programs coming up very soon. Watch for my announcements about these programs, about how you can be uniquely uncopyable and how you can generate more leads than you're getting right now. Because we know filling the funnel is it's the bread. It's the bread of the. That's what it's all about in a business, is filling the funnel, but filling it with the right people. Hey, this is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad and marketing gunslinger. Thanks for joining me again this week on an Uncopyable Business video. I'll be back again next week. Great talking to you. Always remember, be uncopyable. See ya.